important. If you're getting abused physically, emotionally, or even mentally, so it is easy for us to spot physical abuse because, of course, this person is becoming physical. Hey guys, mkwaje. Good afternoon, good evening. I don't know what time you're going to be watching this, but I'm shooting at night. How are you? I hope that you guys are all well. I hope I'm Janishawa because it's the rainy season. Good to have you here back again. Thank you so much for tuning in. For those of us who are new, thank you so much for joining us on this channel. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for again coming back. Today we have a total of 168 subscribers. All right, so quite a good growth from the time when we started. So if you have watching this and you've not subscribed to our YouTube channel, I would please request you to do so. So subscribe to All for Single Parents. It's a channel that is basically about encouraging and motivating single parents. This includes single moms and single dads. So if it's your first time to be here and you are a single parent, or you know someone who is a single parent, then you can subscribe to this channel, and you're going to be getting quite a good insight on how to maneuver through life during these difficult periods. Now, on my previous video, I did a shoot on red flags to identify in a man before you settle down for that relationship. Now, I have gotten so many feedback from most of you who watched that particular episode. Most of us would go to my inbox, and others would call me, give their insights, and there are quite a number of more red flags that I feel we need to also include onto the list because they are quite substantial, and they are red flags that they are not to be ignored. So I thought it wise to come back again and to have a further discussion on further and additional red flags that we can identify in a man. So we're going to call this red flag to watch out for part 2. All right, but we are hoping that this is going to open someone's eyes. It's going to educate someone, and also to help us understand, even in our next relationships as we're settling down, what are we looking out for? Because everyone, of course, we all have our own preferences, but also there are some of the red flags that indeed cut across. All right, regardless of how you prefer your man to come like. And I'm majorly talking to ladies here because I've actually gotten quite a number of feedback from ladies. I don't think that I've gotten feedback from gentlemen. So the 5 red flags that I'm going to be including, I have gotten feedback from fellow women. So I am going to be talking more to ladies now. As a lady, there is what, of course, you want your man to come in. There is the package that you want in a man. However, of course, anytime, as we said in our previous video, there's a lot that you need to look out for, so that you make sure that, again, you are not making a mistake, because that is what we are looking out for. We don't want to make mistakes, as much as sometimes we get into such kind of messy situations, but we don't want to make mistakes. We would rather know before we end up to that mistake. So because you remember when we were learning, we were told that experience is the best teacher, but as we grew older, we realized that it is the best teacher for for fools, because you should have gotten people who have been there. We give each other insights, we educate each other, and we know how best to maneuver through such situations. So in this video, we are going to be talking about 5 additional red flags that you can watch out for in a man, and I'm hopeful that this is going to help us. All right, so let's dive into it. And the first tip that you need to be looking out for in a man is if the person is lacking trust in you. So because it is our relationships are usually built on trust. We have got to trust each other to understand that the other person is capable of making the right decision, whether we are influencing the decisions or not. So, but in most cases, you find that if you have at some point now started doubting whether this person is going to make the right decisions, whether you are there or not, then it means that along the way there's some things that are not being done right. All right, so, and it's important for us to build that trust. Now, on this particular point, as much as we need to trust that other person, which is again very important, there's something that I read somewhere that this in a relationship, trust is paramount. All right, so you need to trust, but the biggest part of your trust should be trusting in yourself. All right, trust in yourself. Understand that that you're capable of handling whatever thing that might come your way in that relationship. All right, but now on this particular point, what I'm talking about is that if there is lack of trust, then indeed that is right away a red flag, because you are supposed to trust each other to make the right decisions at any given time. All right, so watch out and to ensure that you are having trust to your partner at any given time. Now, someone also gave me this particular red flag that I don't know how I missed it out on my first video, but this is important. If you're getting abused physically, emotionally, or even mentally, so it is easy for us to spot physical abuse because, of course, this person is becoming physical. They are, trying to hit you, or they're even hitting you. All right, so it is very easy for you to find, for us to spot physical abuse. However, how about mental and emotional? Now, it is difficult for some of us who might not have been enlightened enough. You might not be able to spot someone who is emotionally abusing you or mentally abusing you. But in this case, I'm talking of people who, when they are going through some sort of distress, so they are going through distress perhaps at their work, and they're bringing it all onto you. All right, so innocently seated and having a good day, and then this person brings, and when you're trying to have a conversation with them, they totally do not want to have this and peaceful conversation. It is no longer there. So you find that at some point, as much as because such people, in most cases, they try to be sweet and also show the sour bit of them. So it's important for us to be able to spot when someone is abusing us physically. It's easy, but if someone is abusing you emotionally, or if someone is abusing you mentally, be able to spot and make the right decision, because the most important thing right here is to take care of yourself. All right, and you're not going to take care of yourself if you're going to be distressed. Unabeba stress za mtu, zile si zako. Everyone has their own stress, and then this person comes to add more to what you're carrying. So indeed, that's what I'm saying, that is going to be one of the red flags that we need all to look out for. But the third point is if the person is constantly jealous, and in most cases find that you're arguing over you having good time with your colleagues, with your friends, and it seems like they just want you to be happy around them. They don't want you to thrive in environment with other people. So it becomes an issue, especially if you are a person who is into social works, or even to any other person. All right, so because someone who is that constantly jealous is someone who I would say is very selfish, because they just want to have you all to themselves, and that is a problem. Because at the end of the day, you need to perform, you need to go out, you need to have fun, you need your own time. You actually kuna hiyo kuwa na time yako, right? So just having your own time, you and you alone, meditate, sit down, and it's important. So it becomes a problem. And you see, someone who is jealous, honestly, is someone who you are going to argue quite a lot with. All right, so most of the time mtakuanga like mkipita siku ni moja, the next day you guys are arguing over what? Over nothing. All right, so they usually do not want to understand it that you are happy with other people around you and not them. Okay, so it becomes a red flag, because majorly the reason as to why I spotted this particular red flag, if it's something that is going to affect you in the long run, and your performance and your authenticity, your happiness, your every other thing that involves your happiness, if anything is going to touch on that in name of you sacrificing for that relationship, then honestly it's not going to be worth it. Because again, I'm thinking at it from a point of you're going to be staying there long term, literally. So hakuna vile utaka hapo kama uko unhappy hiyo period yote. Okay, so and the fourth point is if the person is negatively affecting your other relationships, especially your friendship, again closely related to the previous point. If the person is going to negatively affect you, like they don't want you to hang out with, and it, have you seen a healthy relationship that is affecting another healthy relationship? No. So if you are having and you're thriving in your relationships with your friends and with your family, and you get someone and they want you to cut that, literally. So I have heard cases, and I got this point from someone, a close friend of mine. So because what she was telling me is she got into this relationship, all right? So thankfully that is not in her current relationship, but it is a sign that she spotted in a previous one, right? So you get into this, and literally all your communication with your friends is expected to cut short kabisa. You're not supposed to talk, you're not supposed to hang out with your siblings as you used to. So inakuwa ni wewe na yeye. Okay, so what happens ile siku yenye mmekosana? Utaita nani? Who are you going to talk to? No one. All right, and so in most cases unapatanga such kind of people are kind of manipulative, and there's something that they are hiding. They don't want you to find out, and especially if it's someone who is hiding you from their family, like it's just they want you, ufai kwenda ukiinteract na sijui ati cousin yangu fulani, ufai uongee na sistangu, they're hiding something from you. So it's important for you to spot that and be able to find out why. All right, why am I being told that I need to cut this relationship? Or get logical reasons. And honestly, I believe that a healthy relationship should not come in the way of another healthy relationship. All right, so if you're having a healthy relationship with your friends and with your sisters and with your brothers, it should not be cut short because someone else wants your relationship to be healthy. No, so it's just hakuna compromise on your friendship. And I would advise ladies, if you get someone and they're trying to have you not have time with your family, no, it's just not the right thing, because you'd need people to talk to. Wakati mwingine mnakosana, you again need someone to talk to. Okay, so it's important to ensure that you are retaining your relationships even despite the fact that you are with that person. And lastly, the last one is if the person is not able to communicate openly with you, having open conversations with you, talking with you real time. If there's any issue that is kama kuna kitu yote inamsumbua, let them talk it out and let that be like immediately. Because piling and waiting for issues to pile up is when now at some point itakuwa sasa punda imechoka. All right, so they cannot take anymore. They have had a lot to handle. So it's important for every other this cuts across any relationship. Communicate with your partner, have really that very open communication with them, right? So just talk your issues and ensure that if there's something that is making you unhappy, you are talking about it real time. You are not waiting until it is too late, because then again it means that it reaches a point of no return, literally. And if you're into that relationship with an intention of maintaining it, then it's important for you to stay intentional about communicating things that you feel could hurt you, the both of you. So that's when I in marriage, people get into marriage and should stay committed to that marriage. And how to do that is, if there is anything that you feel like is not totally working out, you sit down your partner and you come up with solutions. Conflict resolution, handle things like adults and as mature people and as people who are very intentional about retaining that relationship. So have a talk with your partner so that you understand each other. The best way into which you believe you should resolve your own issues, as opposed to someone who keeps quiet. All right, so because there are people who believe that if by keeping quiet they're resolving issues. All right, so utaweza nyamaza leo and then you keep quiet again tomorrow and things just keep going like that, and trust me, that cannot go past 3 years. After 3 years ni mob, it doesn't last. So it's important for you two to communicate issues together and be able to come up with solutions amicably. Come up with solutions, and may these solutions be intentional about retaining that relationship. It's about staying committed and understanding that the only option that you have is you said yes I do, right? So sit down and communicate. Or if it has not reached to a point whereby you have already been married, you are perhaps at the initial stages of dating and courtship, understand that again communication comes in handy in ensuring that now you reach to that point of marriage. All right, so because if you're having communication issues at the onset of it, then it means that it might not last as you'd want it to. And trust me, every person has their own flaws, so kila mtu akona their own weaknesses and things that of course might not be aligned into what you think your ideal person should be. So if you're spotting out issues in your partner and you are literally not saying and not being, as I mentioned, intentional about retaining that relationship, at the end of the day, how many relationships are you going to have? All right, so just think of it that way. How many people? Because no one, as much as sometimes unapatanga kuna mtu mwenye unasema this is my perfect match, trust me, it is usually 99%. There is that 1% can you don't like about that person. So it's important for people to just sit down and communicate and understand each other so that they're able to stick together. Right, so those are 5 additional red flags onto the 6 that we had discussed on our previous video. And if you're watching this and you had not watched our previous video, then you can just check. I'm going to drop the link on the description box so that you are able to go and watch that particular episode. All right, so and also as we are watching out for red flags, okay, as we are watching out for red flags, let's also be able to discern and understand that we have red flags and there's yellow flags. So like there are things that you can change in a person and there are things that you cannot change. All right, so if someone is totally losing trust in you, then it means that it has reached a point whereby it's not stable anymore. All right, but there is a yellow flag, something that you guys can sit down and be able to talk and come up with solutions. All right, so but let me give an example. As I mentioned earlier, if you're going out with your friends or with your colleagues and this person doesn't like it, so it is one thing to just communicate and be like, me, I do not appreciate this because of this and this and this and this. And it is another thing for someone to literally throw tantrums because you did. All right, so this person is throwing tantrums, trust me, that's a red flag. All right, but if someone is willing to sit you down and communicate, for you it might become a yellow flag because this is something that is working for you, but the way that this person has handled the situation it's logical and it's making sense, and it's something that at least can be able to be acceptable. I would say it's acceptable way of handling that particular situation. All right, so let's be able to understand and discern when to identify a red flag and a yellow flag, and perhaps maybe we can have this talk again so that you're able to find ways in which you can discern a yellow flag from a red flag. Okay, so up to this point, thank you so much for sticking with us and for being with us up to this particular point. Nimeshukuru sana. If you have not subscribed again, I would really appreciate. We are at 168 and I'm really looking forward to a period where we're going to be at 500 subscribers, and I'm going to be so thankful. I know that we can do this. If you're watching and you've not subscribed, I'm going to appreciate. Just subscribe. It is going to go a long way. All right, so in our next video, all right, acha niwapatie Mwakenya. In our next video, I want us to talk about ladies and money, wanawake na pesa. All right, and this is coming from the point where we had this clip that was trending last week about how to make a woman happy, and all the 5 options were about giving her money. Give her money. If you forget to give her money, just ensure that you give her money. If you don't have money, go and borrow and give her money. So let's talk about this in our next video. Stay tuned. All right, thank you so much. Bye.